Hello and welcome. I'm Katrina Pratt Roebuck, and I am the founder and CEO of Uplifme. Uplifme is a national resource hub that provides information that addresses the social determinants of health for people in need. And today I have with me a very special guest. I'd like to introduce you to Theresa Spencer, who is the CEO of Vintage Green. So, Theresa, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Katrina. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Teresa, can you tell us about your organization, Vintage Green, and a little bit about you and how you got started in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Vintage Green Inc., or Vintage Green Communications, was started back in 2017, and it was actually created to help people with like resume writing,
Mm,
really shaping their corporate brand. And then it's just evolved after like the years into a full on boutique communications, PR, and marketing firm. I service primarily Black and Brown business owners as well as nonprofit leaders,
mm,
individuals who have a compelling story.
mm,
We work with the media. We help those entrepreneurs or leaders gain that media coverage to really help them share their stories with a larger audience.
mm,
We also offer everything from digital ads, graphic design work, copy editing, and a bit of also blogging, as well as fundraising, letters, or presentation decks. So Vintage Green has been a evolving business, but
mm,
at the end of the day, we are storytellers. We
mm.
are here to tell the stories of diverse leaders, and again, like help our community with resources as well as education.
And so, thank you for explaining that in detail. And that's exactly the reason why I'm so excited to have you on today. And I thank you for being on, is because you help organizations that help our communities, right? So, you help nonprofit leaders, public sector leaders, not only elevate the work that they're doing, but then it reaches more people through the work that you're assisting them with. Can you tell us a little bit about, and reading your bio, I've had a chance and you have an impressive bio. You call yourself a brand architect. Can you talk a little bit about why you lead with being a brand architect?
Because, and that's a great question. I'll say this that being a brand architect is you have to be a person who can be a visionary.
Mhm,
You can't just hear what someone is offering you. You have to be able to take maybe even like something that's very small and then turn into something big.
mhm,
So a lot of times when I work with clients, I say, give me everything. Tell me everything about you. Tell me
mhm,
everything about your business. Tell me what the long game is. So I
mhm,
take all that information, also doing research, and then I'm able to create something.
mhm,
Creating your narrative,
mhm,
creating the story that we want to provide to the community, to partners.
mhm,
I make it relatable.
mhm,
Pull it to a place where not only is it relatable, but people can see themselves either in it. Because I'm really big on representation matters. There is
mhm,
someone who probably will hear this story, this interview, and say, wow, she looks like me.
mhm.
I never thought I could do this, but if she can do it, now maybe I can.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
being that architect again is really just pulling in the stories, finding the ways that it align. And then like I said, it is something that everything that I do with each individual that I work with, it's customized. It's
Mm,
not like I'm pulling someone else's story into someone else's story. I use your authentic story to create a narrative that is, again, relatable, something that, again, can benefit the community. So it is a process, it is a building. But I will also say this, it's not just a Teresa thing. I do have a team who also works with me, and I give them projects. I give them the challenges that we may face, and
mhm,
it really does help them think outside of the box because I don't want people on my team who are just doers. I want
Mm,
thinkers. I want critical thinkers. I
mhm.
want to be able to say, hey, we have this checklist that we provide to our clients. I want y'all to look at this. I want y'all to pull it apart. And I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your ideas. How can we tell this story either from a digital place, print, or who are we thinking about in terms of partners? Is that an influencer? Is it maybe a state rep? Maybe it's a city council member? But all of these things are pulled together. So again, that we are really working with the client and with the information that they're giving us.
And I think that because you have that strategy of storytelling and really helping people to highlight their authentic selves in their work, I think that the amplification you have for their work is you know a multiplier that probably can't even be quantified. I think it's also a different perspective than folks in nonprofit and public sector work think of. We're typically not thinking of how to market a brand. We might tell the story, but we're not thinking of it, I think, in the way that you do that reaches so many more people. Thinking about that, can you talk a little bit perhaps about a project that you're particularly proud of that you were able to do?
Yes. So 2 weeks ago, I actually worked with a group who held their third annual wine festival here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And the name of the group is Kabila Events.
Hmm.
And when I actually got introduced to Kabila, it wasn't like I didn't know about them. Someone actually told Kabila about me and my services that I offer and the work
Hmm.
that I've been doing in Philadelphia. So after we connected, it was great synergies. They told me about two events that they had coming up for the summer, and one was called CultureFest. And
Mm,
the other one was the Philly Black Wine and Spirits Festival.
mm,
Both of the events were, again, still pretty new,
mhm,
but the momentum that it gained from me serving as their PR person or
mhm,
consultant, it really took off in the sense
mhm.
that the first event, Culture Fest, was sold out. It was
Wow.
held right on Pennsylvania, like the Penn's Landing area at Liberty Point,
Mhm,
and it was packed. They
mhm,
had vendors, they had food, they had DJs. It was just a beautiful time
mhm,
for Black and Brown to come and sing, dance. There was no incidents. It was just literally Black joy. It was a fashion show. Photographers came out, content creators came out, and it was just a wonderful day that put Philadelphia on the map.
mhm,
People were literally traveling from like the DMV area, New York, what from the West Coast to come to Philly to enjoy a festival. Now, for me, I've always heard, oh, you got to go to New York, or you got to go to Maryland, you got to go to DC, you got to go to Atlanta,
mhm,
Florida. But no, you can come right here to Philadelphia because we are holding our own when it comes
mhm,
to curating beautiful events that celebrate the work that we're doing, the joy that we bring, and just all of our culture, our
mhm,
heritage. All of that was just a part of that first day,
mhm,
the first event called Culture Fest. Then the second event they had was again Philly Black Wine Fest. Now that was exciting because the theme was Rose Renaissance.
mhm,
And when I tell you people came out in their pinks, their blushes, their creams, their silvers, their gold. It was just like honestly like a black parade of beauty
mhm,
during the fashion show. Again, people were dancing, just coming together, taking pictures, taking
mhm,
selfies. And it
mhm,
was just a beautiful day again of celebrating
mhm,
wine, spirits, these owners. Who sold wine and like I said, spirits, they were able to have an opportunity to meet over thousands of people because it was
mhm.
a day and night event. So
Okay.
there was a daytime sips where it was pretty significantly packed. They were wine tastings. There was an opportunity for you to do live activations. There was art
Mhm,
being created right on the spot. There was vendors, and they were all Black and brown vendors from everything from home care, candle making,
mhm,
food prep. So again, it was like a one-stop day where you got to just experience a day of fun, fashion, and of course food.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Um, can you talk a little bit about perhaps some of the work that you do, sort of like a little more detail around maybe projects you're working on now? What are some of the pieces that people can expect when they're working with you?
Well, I tell everyone when you work with me, we working together. And I
Hmm.
mean, not to say like, you're doing like any of the heavier lifting, but we work together. Like I need to know what your goal is. What do you want hope to accomplish? So I'm with you hand in hand, step by step, all the way,
Hmm.
making sure that you have your reminders, making sure that you have your talking points, making sure you have a script.
Hmm.
And not only just for yourself, but if you have a team of people and you want everyone to have a cohesive messaging or a message, we provide you with a customized script for you to utilize for media interviews or just talking points when people are engaged with you.
Hmm.
The other thing is that with working with Vintage Green, since we have a good relationship with the media, because most of us are either former journalists,
Hmm.
writers, bloggers, or communicators, we know the landscape, so we have a lot of relationships with, let's say, Fox 29,
Hmm.
KYW, iHeartRadio,
Hmm.
Word Radio, which is a Black-owned radio station that's also aired here in Philadelphia, but also in Atlanta, Georgia. So you do
Okay.
have the opportunity to not only be in the Philadelphia market. We have an extensive media list that covers, yes, our local media outlets here, but then we also have media lists for Maryland, New York,
Okay.
New Jersey, Delaware. So if there's opportunities to break out into those markets, we do have those lists there as well. But the thing is with Vintage Green is that we work with you because we want to be your biggest fan. And that's why we typically work with those who are either in education, giving back to our community through different resources like book bag drives, coat drives, food drives,
Hmm.
financial literacy. And the most important, the last two, I always say art and culture is always one, but then there's also financial literacy and mental health. Like
Okay.
those are the reasons why we work with exclusively those type of businesses and entrepreneurs because we know how important it is for our community to have those resources. A lot of times we don't really know what to do when it comes to like let's say our financials. We just know that we spend money, we put money into our we get a check, we put it in the bank. But then we also work with professionals who really help you understand budgeting, how to really build wealth.
Mm.
Um, so it's been one of those things like for me, it's been a joy to be able to work with a lot of these business owners because they not only relate to me professionally but also on a personal level.
Yeah.
So right now, like just looking at my list, like we're excited. We're working with a gentleman. His name is Fitman.
Mm.
And like the name it sounds exactly that. He's a personal trainer.
Okay.
He actually was the winner for Men's Health and also a natural bodybuilder. So he's actually right now has created uh, a program for youth and teens through nutrition,
Okay.
through grooming, and again, like through like just again how we work out and how they can kind of keep a routine. And the reason why we also his name is Fit Man, but he also goes by Fade Man because he's also a barber. So he's a personal
Okay.
trainer barber. But what
Okay.
he's doing now is helping students or youth find ways that they can make quick meals in the morning before they go to school. Because he had noticed that a lot of students, they get to school, they're all lethargic, sleepy,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't have any fuel in their system. They don't, because they typically just go out the house, go to school, no food or anything. So he's showing them how to create, like, a quick meal before you leave out the house so you got fuel in your tank. And I love that idea. The
Yeah.
other part of this is that he's also now showing them how to, cut your nails,
Mhm.
grooming techniques for your beard, your mustache if you have one. Because he believes in when you look good, you feel good.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you can confidently, go into the classroom, interact with your peers because
Mhm.
like you've already taken care of the biggest piece of how people show up is like how you present yourself.
Right.
So
Right.
Fitman is like very excited to work with him. He's actually was on WURD radio
Mhm.
with Roxy Fab, and then also with Karen Taylor Bass during her Soulful Sunrise show. And then he will also be on Philly Live with NBC 10 with Anya Lachey. So very excited for him. And I think the next client that I'm really excited about is Mary Cross. She is
Okay.
a performer who performs covers for Phyllis Hyman, who
Mm.
unfortunately suffered from bipolar and other mental issues that she is now doing a show to her in Atlantic City on October 4th. And she also is a donator and advocate, or excuse me, she advocates for mental health, and she's also a donor to the annual NAMI Walks Philadelphia. So very excited again, working with the group of people that I've had a chance to work with because of the impact that they're giving to the community.
Yeah, yeah. And so just thinking along those lines, you shared a lot of the uh I guess I would say priorities or passions or things that you find are important, and you highlight those issues and showcase the work that's happening. What is your personal why? What is it personally that folks should know about you that makes this so important for you to do?
My why is it stems from many places.
Okay.
But what I will say is that I was on the other side before
Mm,
I started this business. And meaning when I say that I was working with other organizations and companies, and I just used to see how we would be disregarded.
mm,
We
mm,
weren't, our stories were not being told. They
mhm,
wanted our money, but they
mhm,
didn't want to tell our stories the best way they could.
mhm,
I, it bothers me when you tell someone that the cost for publicity and digital is like a couple $1,000s, but then you not even providing them with the work to
mhm,
really get their name out there. And you can't even really relate to them. You don't understand their story. So
mhm,
that's why for me, creating Vintage Green was because I'm gonna go hard in the paint for my people. That's why I always make sure whoever I'm working with, I believe in your brand.
mhm,
Because if
mhm,
I don't believe in it, you're right. I can't be your biggest advocate. And I'm
right.
just not one to just take your money just to be taking it. Like,
Mhm,
like I find joy when I represent every single client. I
mhm,
can say, when I work with someone who's giving back in the way of book bag drives, because I understand. I've seen kids out there holding their books in their hands, walking to school because they don't have a book bag. I've seen kids get teased because they don't have all the things that they need. So when I see someone out here and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna hold multiple book bag drives," I'm like, "Let's get that information out to everybody so these
right.
parents know that there's resources in the community." When someone is advocating for mental health, we all understand that mental health is so important and there's so much that's going on. And sometimes you may need to talk to someone. So I'm always going to be that person on the bullhorn telling people about NAMI Philadelphia, telling
Mhm,
them about therapists who are looking for new clients, who can help them through anything that they may be going through, or if they just need somebody to talk to. And
mhm,
then anytime there is anything that's going to amplify the
mhm,
culture, the
mhm,
work that we're doing, the beauty that we bring, the joy, the artistry that we can provide, I'm gonna sign up. So that's why I say like every time I work with somebody, everybody. Like when I
mhm,
look at my list, I'm like everybody on my list. I love the work that they're doing.
mhm,
Everybody. There's not one person on my list that I'm sitting there like scratching my head because again, I don't do this necessarily for the money. I
mhm,
do it because our stories are important. from the beginning of time, we've always heard a story. There's a story right now that you can remember word for word in your mind because it had such an impact.
Mhm.
And that's what I do, and that's why I do what I do for Vintage Green, because so many people be like, "Oh my goodness, I just want to be able to tell my story. I haven't been able to get it out there." And then
Mhm.
we work with them and they get media coverage. And people say, "Oh, I saw them on Word, or I
Mhm.
saw them on Fox, or I saw them on PHL 17."
Mhm. Mhm.
That does that just makes my heart sing. And I always say, "This is the work."
Yeah.
This is why I do what I do. This is why I get up early. This is why I stay up late sometimes to make sure that your story is out there. And that's what it is to tell our stories because our stories matter and
Mm.
they have so much influence when we actually get to tell them.
So I can personally attest to working with you, and you're a consummate professional. What you just said about believing in the work that the people you represent do, I've felt that it was not just lip service. I felt very prepared for anything that you were setting me up with, and I can tell you that after some of the media exposure that you've provided to some of the work that I've done, I've gotten emails, phone calls, new people into my orbit that I would have never thought of, or yeah,
I'm so
were
happy to hear
in
that.
yeah, working with. So I think that most importantly, what you've said is that you authentically are interested and have a passion around supporting these types of organizations, and it definitely shows through. And I can't thank you enough for that. Can you talk a little bit at this point around how people can engage your work, connect with you, and help to amplify the stories that they'd like to tell?
Absolutely. So you can follow me on all socials. You can find me at Vintage Green Inc. Don't forget the ink.
Mhm.
And you can also go to my website, vintagegreeninc.com, or you can also reach out to me via our number, which is 267-997-3354.
Mhm.
And those are all the best ways to connect with me to find out about the work that we're doing and how we can work together.
So I will put all of that information as well in the show notes. And I just want to thank you, not just for me, but thank you for everyone that you're representing. And thank you for doing what you're doing. It matters.
Well, you're
Thank you
very
so much,
welcome.
Teresa. All right, take care.
All right.